What's up, everyone? Joe Adamski here. This is my very first YouTube video under this name, and I'm here to talk about a video I just saw on YouTube about a woman protesting the company that she works for, McDonald's. Um, there's a lot of this going around YouTube, social justice warriors and things like that, and I really just am repulsed by it. Um, some of my favorite YouTubers bring these things into the light. People like Hunter Avallone and Gavin McInnes. But I've decided to join in with the making fun of SJWs and things like that. Uh, Prior to this, I had talked about spirituality, religion, but never touched on politics and social issues. But I've changed my mind about that because I feel very strongly about it. And it seems to me there aren't enough reasonable voices in the ground. So I've decided to touch on this video, which will be in the description. The link will be in the description of this video. The woman has worked for McDonald's for 8 years and is demanding $15 an hour. She's a single mother, which I feel for you, I really do. And I understand the idea of slave wages and whatnot. However, in this country, you have the freedom to choose which companies you work for, and if you do not like the wages you are paid by your current employer, and if you do not like the fact that you do not receive benefits and paid vacations, things like that, retirement, health insurance, dental, then you are perfectly capable of quitting. We're not in communist Russia, communist China. Um, and today, even those places aren't like this. But maybe there was a time or kind of this idea passed around that that in these kinds of societies you would be told where you can work and what you can do with your life, and your class determines that, the class that you were born into. But in the United States, this is not the case. And I'm not sure that there are very many places on the planet today that are like that. So you have a choice. You have a choice in the matter. You can leave. And I'm just going to go into this a bit concerning my life and the wages that I'm paid now, the wages that I have been paid in the past. Um, Number one, if minimum wage is raised in this way, then prices will be driven up. Not because they have to be, not because these multi-billion-dollar companies now have to raise prices to continue paying their employees these higher wages. No, but because they will, because that's the way they are, because that's how they operate. And in a free country such as this, under free enterprise, under uh, capitalism, employers are able to pay what they want to, as long as they meet federal requirements, which now minimum wage is $7.25 at this time, if I'm not mistaken. So they're abiding by federal laws, paying you $12 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever. But we know from experience that when minimum wage goes up, these employers now charge more for their products. Their reasoning is that they have to pay their employees more for their services. They have to pay distributors more because the people driving the trucks and the trains and all of that, the planes, to bring their materials to them, are now paying their employees more and charging them more for their services, and therefore they feel that they need to charge more for their product. It's common sense. These multi-billion-dollar companies do not want to have less profit. And so when they're required to pay more to their employees, naturally they're going to raise the prices on their products. So then inflation will cause the products to cost more, and it will just kind of balance out. Uh, Once they're required to pay more to their employees, they will charge more for their products, and at such a time, the balance between what you're making and what you're paying for the things that you need to live will remain the same. The ratio will remain the same, and you're not doing any better. So here is what I propose. If you are a single mother or anyone in this country and you feel that you're living at the poverty line, get another job. No one's telling you that you can't. I haven't been to college or any of that. Well, I'm actually a college dropout. Um, and before you say that any of this is white privilege or white male privilege, straight white male privilege, any of that social warriors try to say, uh, I've worked very hard. I've busted my ass. I have a family to support. I work very hard for them. I've worked very hard at every job I've ever had. But I began my career as an electrician in 2012, 6 years ago. I worked for a company that paid me $10 an hour as an apprentice electrician, doing very difficult work, working very hard, long hours, and I continued to do that. I fought hard to get pay raises, and I did. I got pay raise after pay raise. Uh, but it did not come from me sitting there whining and complaining that I wasn't getting paid enough at my job. I left one company. It was a commercial electrical company that I worked for, and it was kind of like nepotism was a factor. They would bring in their family and pay them more, things like that. So ultimately, I left from there. I went to work for a residential electrician, a master electrician, at the same rate of pay, $10 an hour. And I worked hard. I proved myself, and I got a pay raise, and then another pay raise. I ended up at $14 an hour. One thing led to another. That company shut down. So then I was forced to look for another job, and I did. Within 3 days, I found another job because I'm the kind of employee that people want to have. When I left my previous employer, I used his name, and he was a reputable person in the community. So the next person I went to said, "Oh, you worked for him for that long? Okay, you must be someone of value." So they hired me at the same rate of pay I made. From there, I began looking for another job um, because I had heard that the industrial field paid higher. So with that experience I had there, I went for another job in the industrial field. I hired in at $19 an hour. I worked for a while. I got a $2 raise, went to $21 an hour. I became dissatisfied with the company and the way that they operated, and I left there and made $24 an hour with the next company I hired in with. See, it's a free country. You can do that. You can leave and you can be competitive with your rate of pay. You can demand what you want if you are deserving of that. If you are an employee of value in this country, you can ask for more money. And if they do not give it to you, then you can go elsewhere. Now, after a while, I left that company, went to another one, and now I make $10,000 a month, over $100K a year, and I'm very happy. I have the benefits that I want. I work a lot, it's a given, but I make a lot of money um, comparatively to what I used to make, comparatively to my peers um, who are not college educated people. So for a person who is in a craft, who does not own his own business, I make over $100K a year. And in Louisiana, that's pretty good. It's damn good. People here are happy with $60K a year, and I make more than that. But here's the thing, I worked hard. Um, When a company would not recognize what kind of worker I am, I would ask for more money or whatever, but I would always prove myself. And today, I am admired as a master of my craft with the company that I work for, and they pay me what I've asked for. So, what it comes down to is this. You cannot work for a company and demand that they pay you more when everyone else that works alongside you is making what you make. You can leave, but you can't force a company. You cannot force people to pay you more. You can't. They have the freedom to say no, because the next person in line will work for the wages you work for and do the same job that you do. And if you're deserving of more pay and you know it, go get a different job. Go work for a different company. Take the experience that you've gained from where you work now and go somewhere else. Stop crying about it. Stop saying that society is holding you down. Don't play the race card. Don't play the gender card. Get off your ass and go somewhere else. And with that, this is Joe Adamski.